Week 16 of the fantasy football season, and here's a few wide receivers I have as sleepers this week. The first guy, Marquise Goodwin of the Seattle Seahawks. So right now, Tyler Lockett, it looks like he's going to be out in this ball game with a finger injury. And surprisingly, Goodwin's out there in 80% of fantasy leagues. I know he's had a couple pop games here and there. It's Goodwin over the last few weeks on and off. So the last few weeks here for him, week and at Tampa Bay in that 1-2 catches, 38 yards, a touchdown. Week 12 versus Vegas, decent ball game in there, 3 catches, 48 yards. Week 12, week 13, the Rams a catch, 17 yards. Week 14 versus the Panthers, 5 catches, 95 yards and a touchdown. And week 15 here versus San Francisco in that game, 2 catches, 10 yards. So this week here, a good matchup on paper, and a matchup where they're going to be chasing points most likely at the Kansas City Chiefs. So the Chiefs do give up the 4th most fantasy points to wide receivers on the season. And Marquise Goodwin, we know he's a speed guy. We know he'll probably be the number 2 wide receiver over there now. We'll lock it out. And he could get some targets in this one and I think make a few plays. So in deeper leagues, if you need a sleeper option or have injuries or you're worried about bad weather in other ball games, I got Goodwin as a sleeper this week. The next guy is Isaiah Hodgins of the New York Giants. So the Giants here, we know they got a lack of wide receivers going on for them this season here. Darius Slayton being their number 1 guy, and Hodgins over the last few weeks here, he's been serviceable for this Giant teams and possibly fantasy owners as well in deeper leagues. Available right now, 98% of leagues to the last few weeks for Hodgins. Week 13 versus the Commanders, 5 catches, 44 yards, and a touchdown. Week 14 versus Philly, 4 catches, 38 yards, a touchdown, a 2-point conversion. And week 15 at Washington, 4 catches, 37 yards. So this week here, good matchup indoors, which is always a plus with the bad weather going around this week at the Minnesota Vikings that give up the 2nd most fantasy points to wide receivers this season. So right now, if you need a guy in a deeper league or you got a bunch of injuries and you need to fill out your starting lineup, I think Hodgins is a decent sleeper play this week. And the 3rd and final wide receiver I have as a sleeper this week here is Tutu Atwell of the Los Angeles Rams. So this Ram team, you want to talk about injuries. They lead the league in injuries, I believe, especially in big-name players. Matthew Stafford out for the season. Couple offensive linemen out for the season. Cooper Kupp out for the year. Allen Robinson, latest guy to go down on offense is Ben Skoranek. And Aaron Donald's banged up as well. So Tutu Atwell, the next guy up. And he's a decent slot receiver over the last few weeks here for this team. But right now, if you're real desperate, he's a sleeper option. Available 99% of fantasy leagues. So the last few games here for Atwell, week 13 versus Seattle. 4 carries, 23 yards, 2 catches, 48 yards. Week 14 versus Vegas, 5 catches, 50 yards. And week 15 at Green Bay, a catch for 10 yards. So week 16, I know not a great matchup versus the Broncos. They give up the least amount of fantasy points to wide receivers, but there's no one left besides him and Von Jefferson pretty much at the wide receiver position this week here for this Los Angeles Ram team. And Baker Mayfield, he's going to have to throw to someone. And this could be a game where the Rams are trailing as well, and they're just going to have to throw a lot in garbage time. So that's a few wide receivers I have as sleepers here for week 16 of the fantasy football season.